Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundWeb Studios. Visit online at soundwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundWeb Studios is the answer. SoundWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews, and Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many else. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 40 podcast platforms heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Also heard on HamiltonRadio.net, Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and a few other networks coming soon. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. For great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear, and more. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you give generously today. She's backed by popular demand, the multi-talented American-born award-winning actress, director, and also a choreographer, and with Canadian roots based in New York City. She's a classically trained ballet dancer and award-winning filmmaker, grew up in theater in Hartford, Connecticut. She was also in Manifest, Gossip Girl, Billions, Divorce, and most recently, Delusione. That was part of the Dances with Film Fest. We had around last month about that, and she comes back with a brand new film, which is basically featuring lives of 7 mafia wives. And of course, they lived in beautiful mansions, and to find out, well, some things happened. It turned around, and the stories start to unwind as well, which is similar to the Real Housewives, if you can fill in the blank, or Sex and the City, anything like that. 7 mafia wives, and this is pretty much a unique film called Invicta. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the amazing, multi-talented, award-winning director, writer, actor, choreographer, and also with the new movie Invicta, ladies and gentlemen, backed by popular demand, the multi-talented Breton Tyner-Bryan. Breton, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hi, Mike. I'm so thrilled to be here. How you doing? Thanks for having me back.
Well, it's great to have you on back as well, too. And Delusione, by the way, got some really good reviews. And of course, we'll talk about that in just a bit. You're an American-born, multi-award-winning director, writer, actor, choreographer, Canadian roots based in New York City. Also classically trained ballet dancer, award-winning filmmaker, grew up in Hartford, Connecticut. And also you're known for Manifest, Gossip Girls, Billions, Divorce, and most recently Delusione, which got some great reviews. Premiere at the Dancing with Film Fest in Los Angeles, we talked about last month, and your new movie, which is called Invicta, premiering at the end of this month at the La Jolla International Film Fest. And before we talk about that and Delusione, once again, very quickly, tell us how you got started.
So I I was a kid that couldn't sit still, and I was my parents put me in sports, and I was dancing in the, I was playing Little League, dancing in the fields, dancing on the basketball court, dancing on the tennis court, just abhorrently not doing what was supposed to be happening. And so I kind of begged them for dance lessons, and they put me in tap and jazz and community ballet. And I sort of was they're do it for a year. And I kind of turned my nose up at it, did it for a year. And then I was give me the real stuff. So I entered serious ballet school when I was 8. And I was a really serious kid in that sphere, unless I was doing impersonations of my very famous teachers. But yeah, I was I don't know, I was extreme about it. I was really intense about ballet school.
Oh my goodness. And of course that also carried over as well too in Manifest, Gossip Girl, Billions, Divorce, and also Delusione as well too. And plus you also won some awards as well too.
Thank you. Yeah, Delusione's had like a really amazing run. I'm just so grateful that like the LA community's gotten to see it through Dancing with Films. It was just like at the Shoe Film Festival this past weekend in Los Angeles. It was up nominated for Best Experimental Performance, and it's gotten a lot of attention. And I'm really grateful. We've had some really amazing reviews, and I just appreciate so much that people like take the time to watch it and write about it. But what's so amazing to me is like they can through words better describe this film than I can. I mean, I can, my chosen medium is definitely writing dialogue and, as a performer, actor, as well as a filmmaker, director. But I've been like so touched by the reviews that just like expound upon the feelings that I have for the film, but also the feelings I had as a performer in it and somebody making it. And I just want to give it a shout out to the team. Like the film would be nothing without them. It's a group effort for sure. And it's amazing. It's just getting this attention, this exposure, because, through pandemic, I mean, like there's been so many changes in rhythms, you never know what's going to happen. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting like any of this. I just made this film for like my own like creative sanity. I knew I wanted people to see it, but I had no vision that it would like win awards or travel all over the world, which it has. So yeah, it's been pretty cool, and I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm. And also being a filmmaker as well too, it's like that's something you're really passionate about. You've been involved in a number of projects as well too, and of course, just tell us about very briefly about Invicta as well too, and how did that first come about?
Sure. So Invicta is really interesting because the choreography was a movement that I originally created to music from Moulin Rouge for like a live evening production that I wasn't producing, but I was choreographing for. And I wasn't like thrilled with how the production values went down with it, just because I'm picky about lighting and costume and just like all of that. And so I knew I wanted to take that choreographic material and like either adapt it or like select certain elements of it and put that on camera. So that was like the origin of it. And we started in the dance studio really, and I took some people from that cast who done that live production, and then I added new people into it. It's an all female cast, female presenting cast. It wasn't originally, and that's just kind of how it like worked out in terms of like who was available and who wasn't, and who kind of like matriculated out. So I brought in some new people, and it was really important to me, especially through Ben Follies, that we have like performers of all ages reflected. So I was really lucky to work with our lead, Sean Berman, who's originally a principal dancer with Australian Ballet. She's danced all over the world. She's also done like Broadway and cabaret performances, and to have people that are ages like 70 plus all the way to like performers that are 19. So that's what's like a really sweet spot for me. And I love what the older performers bring to the table in terms of like their life experience, but also just like what's etched into their faces of what they've seen and how they know how to sort of engage with the camera and engage with all of the other actors too. So that was honestly, that's a sweet spot for me, because I don't know, there's always like, there's always 25-year-olds that want to perform in New York City. And it takes a little bit more effort and work to find people from different walks of life that have the availability and want to show themselves on camera. I think it's a really important message to put out there, that just to show everybody's experiences, not just to show like one group of people.
Mm-hmm. And that's certainly interesting as well, too. We'll talk more about Invicta in just 1 minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and E11 endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. For great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like merchandise like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also listen to the Mike Wagner Show on HamiltonRadio.net, Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and a few other networks coming soon. And support the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, Anchor FM, PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing, multi-talented, American-born, multi-award-winning director, writer, actor, choreographer with Canadian roots based in New York City, Breton Tyner-Bryan here with Mike Wagner Show, and we covered, how she got started, plus Delusione, which really got a number of awards, a lot of reviews, and going from Delusione over to Invicta, talked about how it came about as well too, and wins winning awards. And this one appears to be setting the bar on this one, which take it to a new level, which is like 7 head mafia wives from across the U.S. converge in New York City, and of course they find out, well, something went wrong. It's just like one of those typical reality series, the Real Wives of whatever it is. So tell us, how about this? It's like, how do 7 women come together in Invicta?
So so I won't give away too much of it because I want people to go check it out.
Oh, of
but
course. I mean they'll probably come get you. We're gonna shoot you, so by Godfather.
So, well, no, it's like some of the logline is like Godfather meets a runway. So it's definitely inspired by this, like the fashion and the idea that like people are sort of dressed in their best, only to find out they're like locked out of this mansion where they were supposed to have a meeting or supposed to like sort of find a home base, dressed in their finest and with nowhere to go. It's sort of like they're wearing their value system, and you see that they're, they have to choose to either like be for each other, but they're really not. There's lots of alliances that are getting established, but it's about sort of like an undercover agent out of Miami that a young agent that sort of like infiltrates the wives by like having affairs with them, and that's sort of like we find out that person's an agent later on. But it's interesting to watch like what happens when the group is under pressure. I think that's a really interesting. I hate to say that after the past 3 years, but like what happens to groups when they're under pressure in terms of who unites and who fractures, and who makes what alliances and how long those alliances last. And you're sort of watching like people's egos try to survive. I think it's really about watching people's egos try to survive in the line of intimacy where people think they made an alliance, but then maybe they actually fall for someone, or maybe they get invested in a situation, whether it's like friendship or romantic love. It's a little James Bond. It's like how blurry are those relationships when people are using one another.
Mm-hmm. And what made you choose the theme of the mafia?
I don't know if there's like it just spoke to me. I just looked at them and I just knew. The way I have to say, like the way this cast behaved. I mean, they're all like, it's terrible, right? They're all like New York City performers with dance backgrounds. So they're already like, they're a feisty bunch. They're a scrappy bunch. They've done a lot to get to New York City, and they've done a lot more to survive here and to make work and to thrive, and to get hired. So like, bless them, they're amazing people, but they are very like particular individuals. They are very strong personalities. And when we first got into the studio and I had some like the older cast members and I brought some new people in, you could just see like who sort of like collects to one side and who's ready to go, sort of more contentious energy towards one another. And that just became, the alliances became very clear. And I sort of was transparent to some extent with the cast about leaning into who they are and their personalities. Everybody's dressed to reflect their personalities and to accentuate them. And I think that's really a strength that I bring to the table in terms of not asking people to be something they're not, but I'm either magnifying something or like, toning it to be whatever level we're looking for. Like, for example, like Sue Sable almost is like the sweetest woman ever. And we really leaned into this like villainous character for her. She had a blast with it, so it's just sort of like pulling out different parts of people's personalities and letting them run with it, have a great time with it, and seeing other like more maternal moments and romantic moments come through. And it makes me think, like you said about like reality TV a little bit, or like you put people in the house and then you see how they behave and react. And
it's almost like a Big Brother Survivor kind of things. Don't ask me to be on that show, guys. Don't ask me. Thank you. Even if you offer me $1 million, I will not do it.
I have no desire to be in that like voyeur. I'm more the director voyeur, to be in that voyeuristic space. But I mean, it's interesting too. I think as a director, people walk in the room and, if you're listening energetically and physically, like they're telling you exactly who they are from the first like 5 seconds they walk in. And I knew everybody that we were working with. And I think what's cool too is like generationally, we have performers from like 70 plus to like age 19. And that was really important to me to show, just to show people's experience, like the life experience, the different life experience, and how we can generationally like relate to one another and come together, and the value that everybody has a valuable experience and opinion to share regardless of age. It's always been like a really big tenet of what, of storytelling for me. So yeah.
And also too, you know, back in the day that we dealt with the generation gap, you know, with grace, style, and you know, intrigue and everything else. But nowadays, it seems like there's like just tension. Do you think we need? Do you think there's like more of that tension? Or you think people are just starting to learn to appreciate the generational gaps? That's been talked about a lot.
I mean, I can only speak to my personal experience on that one, so I don't like piss off a whole bunch of people. But I just, you know, I love knowledge and I love spirit and energy. And I think kindergartners have something to teach me. I mean, I've taught for 20 years. I think the 3-year-old has something to teach me. I think the 75-year-old, the 91-year-old has something to teach me. And I think so. I think what we're talking about more is community. Instead of like placing value based on age, can we place it based on knowledge, experience, kindness? Can we honor kindness and the value of kindness as we share with one another? Because I think if we value kindness, then we're not really like judging where it's coming from. You know what I mean? We're not putting a face to what kindness should look like or value. But for me personally, I love knowledge. And, you know, regardless of what someone looks like, if they have knowledge, I am wholeheartedly interested and attracted to spending time with that person and learning from them. And I think there's all different types of knowledge. Like nobody knows everything. And I think there's a lot of lessons in this life you have to figure out on your own. But I truly, truly value my friends that are quite a bit older than me. And I just always have. I also grew up, you know, I grew up in the ballet world where like everybody who had the knowledge was like, you know, my teachers were in their 60s when I met them. That was, you know, and I'm 8, I'm 10, 12. And so I come from that sort of environment already that is valuing somebody who's older that has experience. And I think, you know, culture is cyclical and it's trendy at times with what's valued and what's taboo, and you know what's important in language and what's not. And I think it's a shame to disregard or to throw away knowledge or information, especially based on gender. I think if somebody has something you want to learn, go talk to them, and you might make a friend for life. You never know. And I think it's a really important thing too. I mean, there's people that I've worked with that are like much older than me that are always telling me like they look up to me, which I would never expect. But I think it's like you never know how valuable an exchange is for the other person. Or I have friends that are, gosh, like early 20s that I find just to be so wise, and they provide me with such insight just because who they are. So obviously, I mean, I could go on and on about age, but yeah, I kind of think age is irrelevant. And I think it's really important to honor people's wisdom and knowledge, if that's what you're interested in. If you're interested in something else, then don't listen to me. But yeah,
exactly right. And just like the movie Invicta as well too, like, you know, you got the age ranges as well too. And what can people learn from the movie or get out of it?
I think the movie's really enticing, and I think that we're looking at a polarization. It's actually exactly what you just sort of talked about in terms of like what alliances are made and then fractured based on age. Actually, there's a romantic alliance that exists between two people from very different age backgrounds, we'll say, and just watching how people choose sides versus what we could do to actually come together as a community. So it's really just a reflection of human behavior, like you said, and you know what it's like for that individual that is that's like ostracized, and what it's also like for the people who like stayed in the group but don't actually really agree with that majority or don't really want to be a part of it, but they stay out of fear. So those are definitely themes that are explored there.
That's really interesting too. And where can we find the movie Invicta and all your other works?
Sure. So Invicta is going to have its world premiere on July 30th, 2022 at the La Jolla International Fashion Film Festival in La Jolla. That's produced by founding artistic director Fred Sweet. And we are nominated, let me see if I can get this right. We're nominated for Best Fashion Dance, Best Cinematography, Best Music, and Best Cast Ensemble, which goes to all the performers in this film. I'm not in this film, so this time I got, so like this is my third or fourth time returning to La Jolla. And La Jolla is how I got started making movies. I didn't know anything about the festival circuit till I met Fred. And I'm just so thrilled for this team. I mean, it's an amazing team in terms of cinematography, music, the cast. And it's kind of exciting for me because I'm not in it. So I could I can just really kind of step back and work on this film and experience it in a different way, and devote my attention to these 7 actors and to the architectural choices, like the locations that I used, and to all of the styling. Sometimes it's easier for me to style other people and to work with them. So there's less pressure actually for me to step out of it in that way as a performer. So it was awesome.
That's really interesting as well, too. We're here with Breton Tyner-Bryan here on the Mike Widener Show with Invicta. And what else can we expect in 2022 and beyond after Invicta?
So there's a film called West of Frank that we shot in pandemic with 14 Broadway performers, actually, that I'm in the process of editing and working with that composer. Her name is Faye Chow. She's amazing. She actually did the music for Delusione as well. So she'll be doing the music for West of Frank. And yeah, it has what I can say until the film is released is like, it was shot in a very historically charged location that has like amazing architecture in New York City that's actually closed in pandemic and now is actually opened as of last week. So there's going to be a nice sort of like tandem of when the film is released and the fact that that location is now open. But West of Frank is about characters that come to life in a library that was formerly a courthouse known as the Women's House of Detention in Manhattan. So it's got like this dark underbelly and this sort of like fantastical element of like freedom, knowledge, and joy of what happens when the library is closed.
That's interesting. It made me think of a movie, but I can't think of it right now. We'll come back later, and love to have you on talking about that as well too. And of course, we're here with award-winning director, also actor, choreographer, Breton Tyner-Bryan here on the Mike Widener Show with Invicta. And Breton, always a big thank you for your time. It's great having you back on again, keeping us up to date. And once again, tell us, where can we find Invicta? What's upcoming for you? What's your website? And how can people contact you?
Sure. So I'm so excited that Invicta is going to have its world premiere at La Jolla International Fashion Film Festival in La Jolla, California, near San Diego on July 30th. And it is nominated for Best Fashion Dance, Best Cast Ensemble, Best Music, and Best Cinematography. So shout out to that amazing team that made that. And then I think we're just going to see what other festivals it gets picked up at. This is kind of like the big in-person screening of that film. So we'll see what happens with that. And people could find me on social media at Breton Tyner-Bryan on Instagram. You can also find me at Breton Follies NY, which is our production company that like made these films. And of course, if you want to check out Delusione, you can check out _ Delusione the film _ on Instagram.
We certainly would do. So once again, Breton, a very big thank you for your time, and always great to have you on. Looking forward to having you soon. Just keep us up to date, keep in touch, and definitely wish you all the best. You've got a great future ahead of you. Looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you, Mike. You're amazing. Thanks so much for having me back. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast.